Hari Om. Gently close your eyes. Your fingers interlaced and placed in front. Your head, your neck and back erect. Your breathing is normal. Attend to your mind. Let your mind be free of thoughts. If any thoughts come in and disturb your mind, gently dismiss them. Be aware of your breathing. We will chant the mantra Om followed by the Shanti Patha, the invocatory prayer. Sahana vavatu, sahanam bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu mavit vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. We will chant 10 shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 31 till 40, please. Chapter 4, verses 31 till 40. We'll start. Yajñashishtamrita Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Nayam Lokostya Yajñasya Kutonya Kutasattama Evam Bahuvidha Yajñaha Vitata Brahmano Mukhe Karmajan Vidditan Sarvan Yevam Nyatva Vimokshase Shreyan Dravyamayadyajñat Jnana Yajñah Parantapa Sarvam Karmakhilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate तद्विद्ये प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः ये ज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि यथैधांसि समेद्धोऽग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशम् पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानम् तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति आज्ञश्च श्रद्धधानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति न्यायं लोकोऽस्ति न परः न सुखं संशयात्मनः We were discussing about cleanliness. A quick recap of what do we mean by cleanliness. Since Atman is ever pure, where there are no desires, where there are no thoughts, since Atman is our original nature, to get back to that original nature, purity, where do we start? We do not know that purity is our original nature. Atman is our original nature. Our understanding is that we are all the time thinking about our physical body. We are thinking about our mind and its desires. We are thinking about thoughts and ideas of the intellect. Therefore, the scriptures remind us that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the intellect, we are ourself. How do we prove this? that self is our original nature. Swami Parthasarathi in Vedanta Treatise, the book The Eternities, Vedanta Treatise, The Eternities, he has beautifully mentioned that imagine there is a brass vessel. The original nature of the brass vessel is its brightness and brilliance, but because of exposure to the world outside, the brass vessel has become black and tarnished. It is dull. How to regain its original luster? So we take a little bit of brasso and wipe it clean, and because of this process, the brass vessel regains its original luster. The brightness and brilliance of the brass vessel, the sparkling nature, has not come from outside. It is inherent in it. Is it not? Same way, self is our original nature. Purity is our original nature. It's like saying health is our original nature. Ill health visits us, meaning because of some bacteria, we get some ailment and we fall ill. By taking the doctor's prescription, the medicines, we are removing ill health, whereby our original health is regained. Temporarily, for a few days or weeks or months, the original health is kind of covered or displaced by ill health. The brass vessel, which is bright and brilliant, is covered by dirt. We are only removing the external dirt. The inherent nature reveals itself. Ill health is removed, health is revealed outside. Same way, friends, by removing the dirt in the form of desires, in the form of worry, anxiety, attachment, then our original pure nature is revealed. In one of the sessions, we have explained that it is because of the rajas and tamas. A human being is composed of 3 gunas, qualities. Every human being has this quality: sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva is purity, rajas is action, and tamas is inaction. Since we are using the word pure for sattva here, then rajas and tamas is the one which is, bringing in the impure nature. So by removing rajas and tamas, whatever sattva that is there is enhanced. Since a human being is composed of 3 qualities, Now, when rajas and tamas, when they are of negligible quantum, then sattva alone cannot remain itself. We attain trans sattva. So a self-realized person has no gunas. All others possess the sattva, rajas and tamas in some permutation and combination. Mathematically, we can say the aggregate of sattva, rajas and tamas will be equivalent to 100%, or whatever it is. So the percentage varies from person to person, and because of this variation of sattva, rajas and tamas, the three gunas, no two human beings are the same. So to come back here, when we're talking about cleanliness, to attain that purity, we start from the gross aspect of this world, and then slowly move towards the physical body, and then the mind, and then the intellect. So we move from the gross to the subtle. By keeping the environment clean, by keeping the immediate environment clean, and keeping the physical body clean, keeping the mind and the intellect. The mind here is the feelings, emotions. Intellect will be here thoughts and ideas. Thinking. And ultimately, when the thoughts and ideas, when the desires, when the feelings, so indirectly when the mind and intellect is clean, then the root from which, the cause from which this product, mind and intellect, has arisen, which is vasanas, also will be clean. That's why in Sanskrit, vasana is given the name as mala. Mala means dirt. So when the vasanas are completely clean, then what we say is a person has attained absolute purity. So we were discussing about the various aspects of the mind. Mind is seat of likes and dislikes, feelings, emotions, worry, anxiety, desires, attachment, etc. So we have already discussed likes and dislikes, worry and anxiety, and we were discussing about desires. So how to clean the desires? Cleansing of desire will be not only that easy, but it is not impossible. Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, I find it difficult to control the mind. Even if I control, it is only for a short time. How is it? Lord Krishna replies saying that, undoubtedly, asamshayam mahabaho. Yes, mind is difficult to control, but with abhyas, practice, sadhana and vairagya, mind can be controlled. So overnight we cannot control the mind. It is a long process. That doesn't mean I live my life the way how I want in this lifetime and then next lifetime let me see. It is not possible. So in this context, I would like to bring in the cleansing of the individuality from a different perspective. Since life has not begun this lifetime, in this birth, and it will not end in this lifetime at the time of death. It is a journey. We don't know when we have begun our journey and when we are going to end. All that we know is the present, what we are doing right now. Since we don't know from when we have begun our journey and what all desires are there in store, how many more years, how many more generations I will require to wipe out my desires, the focus can be on this particular aspect. Irrespective of whether I am going to exhaust all my desires in this lifetime or not, a true sadhak will not have such a thinking at all. A true sadhak will have a thinking, right now I am in contact with a subject which is helping me to eradicate my selfishness. Let me not be concerned about how long am I going to take to exhaust my selfishness or desires. Let me take small steps, and ultimately my aim will be to eradicate all my desires, all my selfishness, but I will not be result oriented. I will not be thinking about the end, but my process is what is important to me. Number one. Number two, since we said life is a journey, then what is important is the journey should not be stagnant. We should be moving. But you may ask, in what direction? So the direction is, though we do not know we have not reached the end result. We have not reached the destination, but the information what we have, with that, if we have that immense faith that we are in the right direction, that itself will help us to strive on the path and in the long run attain that destination, reach that destination. So two important things. One is destination, which is self-realization for all human beings, and second thing is no stagnation. Third thing will be, what sort of vehicle are we using? When I say vehicle here, when we are talking about destination, you can reach the destination by the quickest means, by flying, by taking a flight, by road, or by train, or by ship. Various ways are there. If a person has the desire to reach the destination as quick as possible, but that money power is not there to take that flight, then that person has to assess the immediate situation, present situation, and find out what mode of transport he or she has to take in order to reach the destination safely. Exactly same way, a sadhak a seeker should assess, yes, my destination is self-realization. In this context, attain liberation without any, what we're talking about in this context is no desires, no selfishness. Then what path should I take in order to reach this destination? Should I take the path of thinking questioning? Should I take the path of devotion? Should I take the path of action? Depending upon one's constitution. When I use the word constitution here, am I a thinking type, predominantly a thinking type, or am I predominantly an emotional person? Or am I balanced? At times I use my thinking, and at other times I am emotional, an energetic type. Accordingly, after assessing one's constitution, then decide the path to reach the destination. So out of interest, enthusiasm, if I take that path which is not suiting me, then I may be striving, but the result will not be there. The result will not be commensurate with our effort. Then, since the result is not there, the sadhak gets disappointed, agitated. More the disappointment, more the agitation. More the agitation, presence of focus is not there. When the focus is not there in the present, the future cannot be achieved. It's a vicious cycle. So therefore, to reach the destination, what is very important is, the path that you take. In order to cure oneself of the ill health, the right diagnosis is important. It is not just the right diagnosis, the right prescription. It is not just the diagnosis and the prescription, the medication, the dosage. It is not just that diagnosis, it is not just the prescription, it is not just the dosage, but it is a person who follows that prescription, who follows that dosage. Same way, it is not just the destination which is important, it is not just the path what we have chosen that is important. Depending upon the constitution, are we acting according to the decision what we have taken, the course of action. So to get back to our discussion here, cleansing of mind. Cleansing of mind is not like we are eating food and then cleaning our fingers with the soap and water or with a tissue. It is not that easy. It is not a gross entity. Desires are intangible, cannot be seen. Then how are you going to cleanse it? So when we are using the word cleansing of desires, cleansing the mind here, there cannot be any solution also. Solution, when I say here, it's not the problem solving solution. We cannot have anything gross to clean the subtle desires. We cannot have any gross gadget in order to cleanse a subtle desire. Many people advise meditation. A person is disturbed. A person is not peaceful. Advice given is sit in meditation and then get over the problem. Do yoga exercises. I am not against meditation. I am not against yoga practices. But the fact of the matter is, meditation is like doing a PhD in spirituality. What we are, where we are, is in kindergarten level, the very beginning level. So who is qualified to take up a postgraduate program? Leave alone spiritual study. Even in the material world, a person who has attained 12 years of schooling, 4 to 5 years of graduation, undergraduation, and then 2 to 3 years of post-graduation, he or she is qualified for doctoral study. Same way, friends, a person is qualified for meditation only when the bulk of the desires are offloaded. So that sadhak who has just launched oneself in spiritual practice cannot sit and meditate. The mind is not available for meditation. On the other hand, yogasana practices are for the physical body. Even when we are performing yoga exercises, the mind is running all over the place. So, for example, if you are doing yoga for an hour, you are doing yoga for 2 hours, where is your focus? For those 2 hours, you may be focusing your mind on the physical body, but even that you may be highly qualified. Even when you are doing yoga practices, the instructor is saying, focus your mind on that part of the physical body which you are exercising, but the mind is not listening to you. It is all over the place. So, to come back here, in order to control the mind, you need something subtler than the mind to control it. With gross, you cannot control the subtle. So, there has to be something subtler than the mind. There has to be something subtler than the feelings, emotions, thoughts. In other words, a subtle thought controls, displaces another gross thought. So, physical body is gross, subtler than the physical body is the mind, subtler than the mind is the intellect, and this is the hierarchy. So, physical body, the mind, intellect, vasana, because vasana is the source of thoughts, feelings, actions, and then subtler than the vasana is the self, Atman, and there is nothing subtler than Atman. You may ask, how do you know it? Those who have attained the self, they say there is nothing subtler than the self. There is nothing greater than the self. When you get there, you will know it. But as far as this discussion is concerned, physical body is gross, subtler than the physical body is the mind, subtler than the mind is the intellect, and subtler than the intellect is the vasana, and subtler than the vasana is the self. Vasana itself cannot be understood, it cannot be defined. Therefore, Atman, which is subtler than the vasana, cannot be understood, cannot be described. Indescribable, immeasurable, immutable, immovable. These are all the words used for vasana as well as the self. Kutastha. But we can understand the physical body, the mind and the intellect. Therefore, a thought, a subtler thought, displacing another gross thought. This is how the gross desire can be cleansed by a subtle desire. I will touch upon this and then we will again take it up in the next session. You analyze a child's life. A child is entertaining desire for playthings, dolls, marbles, chalk pieces, etc. The child doesn't know the desire for tricycle. Now I am giving an example from the world with which the gross objects are brought in here. The marble is gross object, the tricycle is also a gross object. But it is a better object which can, with the marble or the chalk piece, you can only play with the limited environment here. Whereas the tricycle or the bicycle, when I use the word a better desire, with which your enjoyment is also bigger, your happiness enlarges. In that term, I am saying here, in that sense. So when now that may be two children in a house. One child is of younger age, entertaining desire for chalk pieces, and the other one who is 5 years old or 7 years old is entertaining desire for the bicycle. That child, 1 year old, does not know the desire for the bicycle. At times, the elders in the house may, hold the child, make the child sit on the bicycle, maybe as a pillion rider. But the child can't ride. But that older one has no desire for, the lesser objects. The desire pertaining to the 1 year old. There may be another person, an adult in the same house, who is 21 years old, does not have any desire for those chalk pieces, marbles, and the bicycle, the small one, whereas he is entertaining a desire for maybe a lady love or a car or something else. Again, gross object. But if I substitute this with knowledge, then it becomes subtler in terms of object here. Whereas that 1 year old does not entertain that knowledge pertaining to the 21 year old. Doesn't know what it is. Cannot be quantified, cannot be explained also. As we entertain higher desires, as we move to higher strata, then the desires pertaining to the lower levels automatically drop off, is being cleansed. Whereas if you clearly see those who entertain the desire for that particular strata, even that higher one, they are stuck in that level. But it is better than the lower desire. So when the person entertains desire for the higher and has completely identified with the higher desire, then the lower desire is completely cleaned, cleansed, waned off, completely dropped, renounced. That is how you move step by step. Then comes a stage where, from the gross object, you start moving to the subtler aspect of life. You start moving into emotions, feelings. And then comes a stage in life, you start picking up thoughts and ideas, subtler thoughts and ideas. Even amongst the knowledge, you may be entertaining desire for an engineering subject or a medical subject, as against to attain knowledge of Prashna Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. This is also knowledge, subtle knowledge. So even amongst the gross, there is the degree variation, and even amongst the subtle aspect of life, there are various levels. A time comes where a person entertains the desire for the self, Atman, the transcendental, Brahman. Then As against this, all other desires pertaining to the world becomes gross, and then when a person has attained total liberation, then the desire pertaining to the world is completely dropped off. And this is what is meant by cleansing process, the sadhana here. And this is how every individual, whatever be the religion, is being followed here. So with this we will conclude this session, and we will continue again in the next session. Thank you. Hari Om.